Hi everybody. I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday. Today I'm going to be going over which at-home skincare gadget is best for your concerns. I'll let you guys start coming on. Hello, happy Sunday. I'm going to start off with a little bit of radio frequency. Hi everybody. So today, normally on Sundays, I do a little bit of a demo on different devices. Today, I've had so many questions on which device is best for which concern. I'm gonna go through a whole basket of different stuff and show you guys what I mean by different gadgets are best for very different types of concerns. For example, I'm starting off with this radio frequency device. I'm putting on a little bit of conductive gel and I'm gonna work on my jowl area. Oh, I also have this going on in the background. So maybe before I talk about anything, let's talk about red light therapy, because if you only have one gadget that you can get, red light therapy, in my personal opinion, and who am I? I'm just a 55-year-old gerontologist and healthy aging specialist, but is also like a skincare junkie. But in my personal opinion, in terms of the health of your skin, if you could only buy one device, I would buy a red light therapy device. Now, it doesn't have to be a big panel like this. They make different masks. So you guys have heard me talk a lot about the Omnilux mask because it is, in my opinion, the best one on the market right now. But what red light therapy does is a certain wavelength, and it ends up going through the epidermis of the skin. So when you're looking at a red light therapy device, what you really want to look for is a wavelength of 630 to 680 nanometers of red light. I want to be very clear about this, you guys. A red light therapy device like this, the panels have a combination of red and near infrared. So when you're looking for a device like this, if you have melasma, you want to make sure that you're turning off the near infrared on this, because near infrared could actually make melasma worse. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today. I'm going to turn this off just so I'm not blinding everybody. It's a no makeup day for me, you guys. Surprise! Every Sunday's kind of a no makeup day for me. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm 55 years old. I'm a healthy aging coach and a gerontologist. And so I get people in with the skincare and then I help them live longer. So a lot of the times on Saturday, my Instagram lives are education based. So I had Cynthia Thurlow on yesterday, who was an intermittent fasting, that's her specialty. And so who better to have on to talk about intermittent fasting and living longer and women's health and menopause than Cynthia Thurlow. So if you missed that live that I did yesterday, make sure you scroll down in my feed and you'll see it first thing. So today, Johnny said, don't let her age fool you. Yeah, I'm scrappy. I love being 55. So for those of you who are on here who's like, oh my gosh, you look like this or you shouldn't be doing this, you're in the wrong channel. This is an age positive channel and it's healthy aging from the inside out, which is what we talked about yesterday, which was one of the things we talked about yesterday with Cynthia Thurlow. We talked about intermittent fasting. We talked about hormone replacement therapy. So this channel focuses on healthy aging from the inside out, but our skin is our largest organ. And it's the organ which we present to the world. It's our outward facing organ. And so it's that organ which we also attribute to self-esteem. And it's the first organ that shows our sign of age. We're not walking around showing that our bones are deteriorating or that we're getting clogged arteries, but our skin, our age shows up in our skin. So the way that I approach aging is from the inside out, with all of, everything that you can do in terms of cardiovascular health, weightlifting, metabolic health, bone density, all of that stuff to live as long as you possibly can. That's what I studied in school. But I also approach aging from the outside in. So we can trick our skin into behaving like it did when it was younger, just like we can trick our muscles into growing when we're in muscle atrophy, right? Just like we can trick our bones into getting stronger through supplements and through weightlifting, through, different kinds of vibration plates and things like that to get our bones stronger. We can also trick our skin. And so that's kind of what I do. On Saturdays, I tend to talk more about the inside out and educational stuff. And on Sundays, you got me with no makeup, and I'm usually doing a treatment, and that usually goes to my subscribers club. So if you guys are not a member of the subscribers club, it's that little subscription that gets you all of the exclusive content. So I have lots of different tutorials on different devices that I'm going to be talking about today, but I'm going to start with, we just talked a little bit about red light therapy, okay? So I love these panels, but remember, if you've got, yes, you can do the Lumo on your body. If you've got melasma, do not stand in front of this device every single day and then wonder why your melasma got worse. Like when you're going to test out, Johnny, stop it. You look scary without makeup. This is how I was born. We didn't come out of the womb with makeup on, so you're on the wrong channel, Johnny. But when we're talking about red light therapy, you want a certain wavelength with this. And I did a lot of different red light therapy lives. I have a lot of content about red light therapy. But when you're looking for a device, and then I'm going to move on to the radio frequency, because man, do they have a sale. They're literally going out of business. Somebody else bought them, this one. So it's 50% off, and the sale ends today. It's your last chance, but you can still put an order in. When you're talking about red light therapy like this and you're looking for a red light therapy device, I wonder if I have any others out here. I don't. I also have a current body that I like. You want to look for the right wavelength first. So you want to look for the wavelength to be between 630 and 680 nanometers of red light. And you want to make sure that it's flexible and comfortable, because if you're wearing a mask where you can't see and the mask is standing out like this, like, you know, a stormtrooper from Star Wars, you're not going to wear that sucker. You're not going to wear it. Red light is not bad for melasma. Near infrared and infrared is different because there's a heat conduction to that. So whenever you're talking about melasma and you're doing one of these devices that combined red and near infrared, you want to make sure that you toggle off that near infrared, because your melasma could get worse, okay? So you're looking for a mask. You want to look for a mask if this is what you're wanting to treat. You're wanting to treat fine lines and wrinkles. You're wanting to treat skin discoloration. You're wanting to treat melasma. You can treat melasma with red. You can treat melasma with red. You get a device that combines the two of them. You could make your melasma worse if you don't toggle off the near infrared, okay? So in the red, you're looking for 630 to 680 nanometers, a flexible device, one that is portable preferably, because this is just based on experience and having this protocol where I try to fit in all these different skincare devices. You really want to make sure that it's comfortable to wear and that you can still go about your business, because otherwise, if I'm sitting here for 10 minutes, I have to take a nap if I have a device where I can't keep my eyes open or where I can't move around, right? So this device, to me, is the best one on the market. If you just DM me the word red light, I'll send you my top devices. When this one is no longer the best on the market, trust me, I will jump ship and I will bring you along with me and tell you what's the best one. Right now, this one by Omnilux is the best one that I have found, and that is because of the number of red lights here, the flexibility, the portability, and how close you can get the lights to the treatment area, right? It's not standing out here. It's literally right on the treatment area. So red light therapy. Now let's go over, okay, so Adri.Healthy Living. When I get off of here, you can just DM me red light and I can send it to you that way. I don't think I can't send you the link through here, but just send me a private message, or you can comment red light on one of the lives that I've done, and I'll try to get that linked to you that gives you all of my top favorite devices. If you are wanting to treat, wow, I have no lights in here. Let me turn the lights on real quick. Hold on 1 second. If you guys are wanting to treat fine lines and wrinkles, skin discoloration, if you're wanting to treat melasma, if you're wanting to treat pore size, if you're wanting to treat the health of your skin, red light therapy is the device that is going to be my top choice for that. So this kind of deals with all kinds of skin imperfections. You will notice a difference in terms of reducing fine lines and wrinkles. You will notice a difference in evening out. Hypopigmentation, that will not happen with red light because there's no heat involved in it. When you're looking at hyperpigmentation, that it tends to be more prominent when you're incorporating heat, such as a laser, so I would not have a near a laser be something that a gadget you would get if you have melasma, because it's going to make your hyperpigmentation worse. So anything, hey, turn off them lights. Oh my God, Johnny, get off of here. Okay, so if you're in that realm of wanting to treat the health of your skin and also reducing fine lines and wrinkles, evening out skin tone and texture, then red light is the device that you want. This is not going to help you. Okay, so radio frequency does not help with fine lines and wrinkles. It just doesn't. That's not what it does. So when we're talking about which device out of all the devices that I use, which is, I'm not here to sell devices, you guys, but I'm going to tell you the modalities that I use. Red light therapy, radio frequency, microneedling. I just dropped a tool. Microneedling. Here's another radio frequency device. Microcurrent, which I have down here somewhere, and dry brushing, freezing cold showers, that kind of stuff. But it's important if you're shopping for devices, these suckers aren't cheap, you guys. They're not cheap. They cost a lot of money. This costs like $650. You can now get it for like $325 or something because it just got bought out by another company. So if you're in the market for a radio frequency device, radio frequency, again, does not treat pore size. It does not treat melasma. It does not treat hyperpigmentation. Very different concerns that you're treating between these two devices. Does that make sense, everybody? Very different concerns. If you're wanting to treat sagging skin and you're wanting to stimulate collagen, this is the device that you're going to want. I think that in terms of the jowl area, and kind of tightening up the jowl and lifting that area, radio frequency, to me, is the one that has the most results for at-home devices. So I'm gonna put on a little bit of conductive gel. I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit what this device does. It's on a radio frequency mode now. So I'm just on RF, I'm on the highest level. You see, it's got a little bit of red light, a little bit of blue light, and I need a conductive gel on there to make sure. You can't do this on dry skin because it's not going to work. You need that conductive gel. So this just heats the skin. So now let's talk about radio frequency. Okay, we talked about red light. So you know if you've got those concerns just all around health of the skin, fine lines and wrinkles, skin discolorations, hyperpigmentation, all of that kind of stuff. Red light therapy, circulation, the health of the skin, energizing the skin cells. This is the modality for you. Red light therapy is the modality that you want. If you're having this kind of heavy lower face, radio frequency is the thing that I have found is the best to treat that. And what this does is it heats the dermis, so it bypasses the epidermis. In other words, it's non-ablative. It heats the dermis, goes through the top layer of the skin, heats the dermis to around 40 to 43 degrees Celsius. And that is the level of collagen production. So it's stimulating our own bodies to produce collagen and elastin. And when you look at my protocol, this is my skincare gadget protocol. So if you want this, don't DM me here. When we get off of here, you can just DM me skincare gadget protocol or protocol, and this will come to you. And you'll see that I use radio frequency twice a week. And it's, you're looking at 20 minutes. Great question, Dimple Queen. You're looking at 20 minutes. You can do this. I believe if you're under 40, I think they recommend once a week. And if you're under 40, if you're over 40, then you can do it twice a week. So I do this twice a week. I'm on the highest level right now. You don't feel this. So there's no pain involved. It just feels a little bit warm, and you want to keep the device moving. Do you still need the red light face mask if you already have the full body red light panel? You don't. No. So save your money and buy a different modality, right? If you don't have microcurrent, get a microcurrent device if that's what you're wanting to treat. If you're, if you have this kind of device, you have a full body panel and you don't need a mask, great. Invest in a radio frequency device, because what I've found on the 55 years I've been on the planet, and probably the last 30 plus years I've been really kind of focusing on skincare, in addition to the inside out part of healthy aging. But when I started focusing on that, it's the multiple modalities when used together that produce kind of a wave of collagen production that's more similar to when we were younger. You know, when we're in our 20s, our collagen production is sky high because we're still growing, our skin is still growing. And so we've got this kind of waves of collagen that happens when we are younger. But when we're in our mid-20s, our collagen starts reducing by 1 to 3%, depending on your lifestyle, of course. And when that happens, you can trick your body into producing the collagen. Now, if you're only using one modality, yeah, that's going to be great. But multiple modalities, multiple layers of the skin in a consistent way is when I have found it gives us the best results. We just get this wave of collagen and elastin production that is more similar to when when our collagen was still at its peak. Okay, so this is the Lumo. This is the device that is literally, another company bought them. I just found out from my rep. So if you want this device for half price, now you're probably not going to have any sort of, there won't be any sort of warranty, I don't think, with it, because, Johnny, you're really throwing me off. Get off of here. When you won't have pretty much, like, I don't think that you would have a warranty with it because the company is being bought by another company. But I'm telling you, I've had this device 10 years, 8 years, something like that. I've never had any problems with it. And it is a way for you to get a really high quality radio frequency device for half price. So just DM me radio frequency. I'll give you the link, or you can just go over. They're not gonna give you any other codes that I have, I don't think. So you can just go over to Even Skin, EvenSkyn, and they're 50% off store-wide. They have radio frequency devices. They have a red light therapy mask. Not as fond about that one. I forgot what else they have on their thing, but it's 50% off. So a $650 device you can get for $325 or so. It does have an electro muscle stimulation as well, which is great for the jowls as well. So when we're talking about which device is best for you, it's really, what are you trying to treat, right? What are you trying to treat? If you're trying to treat saggy jowls, radio frequency is great. Along with the electric muscle stimulation, you're really working to not only heat shock that area into producing collagen and elastin. That's a great question about the fat pads. Hold on 1 second and I'll get there. But so you're heat shocking the production of collagen and elastin, but you're also stimulating that muscle, right? It's like a workout for your face. So I like to do right under the fat pads. I do not go over my fat pads with radio frequency. Radio frequency has been deemed safe at home, but there is a misuse of devices all the time. That's why people who are using devices like big panels like this are getting melasma, because you're not paying attention to not only the instructions, but what are the contraindications? Who shouldn't be using devices like this, right? Who shouldn't? If you have melasma, you don't want to use radio frequency and you don't want to use near infrared. Red light is safe for you, but not something that heats the dermis up, okay? So this is not good for somebody who has melasma. It's not really good for anybody that has skin discolorations, because that's not what it treats. So I want to go back to that question about the fat pads. RF kills fat pads. How are you ensuring you're not causing damage? First of all, this does not heat up as hot as an in-office device. Okay, so we're looking at a very different level of device when we're looking at at-home radio frequency devices. Let me see what else I have in here. I also have the tripolar. I love this, and I have the Magellan in here somewhere. So those are my top 3 radio frequency devices. The Lumo, the tripolar. Let's see if I can find the Magellan somewhere in here, and I don't think I can, but let's try. Let me give it one more look. Nope. And no. Oh, but I did find my collagen. I was like, I know I have another bottle of collagen. which is super important in wound healing. So if you don't have my favorite collagen, just DM me the word collagen and I'll get you a link to that. I think you save like $10 or something off your first order. Okay, so those are radio frequency. You at least kind of know what are those used for, right? Radio frequency. So Mr. S.K. Rich, yes, radio frequency can damage fat cells. It doesn't kill them, but I'm going to explain briefly what happens when heat or cold or too hot damages a fat cell. This is a fat cell. Let's just pretend, okay? It's a fat cell. When you have freezing cold, like a cool sculpting, what it does is it damages a little bit of that membrane. All it takes to empty a fat cells is to damage the membrane, and then the fat will, over the course of 3 to 6, it's like more like 6 weeks, the fat will empty and you will have killed that fat cells. The same for heat. So radio frequency, when done in office, because it's a stronger type of device than the at-home devices, can potentially damage that membrane of a fat cell and empty the fat cells out. When you're dealing with in-office radio frequency devices, they actually have a setting on them that says for fat loss. So you can use like let me move this out of the way, it's kind of bugging me. You can use like a Morpheus 8 or Secrets RF, which combines, both of those combine microneedling with radio frequency. They have different settings on there that you can actually create fat loss, and some people want that. You don't want that if you're in your 50s like me. We want to like really protect the fat in our face because it's going to, the fat in our face does decrease with age. And I've shown this so many times that I'm going to show it again here. This is what happens to our fat pads as we age. So the fat not only diminishes in our face, but we also lose some bone here as well. And so the fat kind of separates. You see, this is all nice and just even and all of that. Well, this is what happens. So you lose some fat in here, which can cause a little bit of an eye bag. You can accumulate more fat here and everything kind of slides down, and you'll see that the once upside down egg now has like these little breaks in it. That's what radio frequency is for, down here. You don't really want to be doing it over your fat pad, even with an at-home device. That's not what the manufacturer says, but that's what I'm telling you. That's how I ensure that I'm not damaging my fat pads, is I don't go over the top of them. I use radio frequency down here on the sides of my nose, yeah, all the way under, see that cheek and that fat pad? If I go over my fat pad, it is only briefly and maybe one time. I'm not sitting there. This type of device or any of these, if you were just to leave this on your skin, and this is what people do, and this is why you could have like a dent in your skin. If you leave a radio frequency device on your skin and it's only supposed to heat up to a certain amount, that still, in a prolonged heat for that, can still damage that fat cell, and you can end up emptying out some of your fat, which is going to make you look older. So we want to make sure that when we're doing radio frequency at home, we're working on that jowl area and around that chin and the neck. I don't care what the manufacturers say. Don't go over your cheeks. That makes sense? Okay, so that's what we're using radio frequency for. It's for me, it's not going to treat fine lines and wrinkles. It's treating the muscles. It's treating a couple different things. It's heat shocking this area to stimulate collagen production and lift that up. Okay, that's what's basically happening. Yeah, but that's about all it's treating. It's not treating crow's feet. You don't want to do radio frequency around your eyes, right? No. And for those of you who don't have the younger looking eyes protocol, you can just DM me younger looking eyes. And this gives you everything that I do around my eyes. It gives you clickable links, and it gives you solutions for your problems. You know, maybe your problems are not the same as mine. Everybody and every body is different. Everybody's face is different, right? So if you have dark circles, I have treatments for that. I give you the best treatments for dark circles. If you've got fine lines and wrinkles or eye bags, I give you the best treatments for that. So that's all in the younger looking eyes protocol. but you wouldn't do radio frequency around the eyes. It just doesn't make any sense, right? You could potentially, which I do a little bit. This is one of the ways that I use this. I stay away from out here with radio frequency because we lose fat in the temples as well. If you look at this picture, let me see if they can see. Yeah, if you look at this picture, you see the nice fat pad here in the temple? Look over here, we lose the fat. So I stay away from my temples as well when I'm doing radio frequency. I'm on this lower face, I'm chiseling out the jaw underneath the chin. I'm staying away from the thyroid because we don't want to fuck up the thyroid. It's super important. Stay away from your thyroid. You can do your neck and you can chisel out around the chin and the lower face. I have sometimes come up here and done a little bit of a spot treatment just above my eyebrow, making sure that I'm not hitting the temple. So I'm holding, and just kind of touching that. I might do a little bit around here, but I'm talking 1 or 2 swipes. The majority of the time, I'm down here on the lower face and around that jawline with radio frequency, with any radio frequency device. It's not just this one. This one just happens to be on sale because they got bought by another company. So if you're looking for one of these, you want to make, this is a really great opportunity to own a $650 device for half price. I talked to my rep there and she doesn't know much what's going on other than another company stepped in and bought it. So they're going to be changing the name, probably. They're going to be changing the look of it, probably. Is the technology going to change much? Probably not. So if you want this device, today I think is your last day. I think you can place your order by February 4th and still get the 50% off because they're clearing out the entire inventory, if that makes sense. Okay, let me see if I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom. How do you know if you have melasma? I did a whole live on hyperpigmentation, sunspots, and melasma. Melasma looks like a bit of, let me see if I can find any on me. I don't have any really, I don't have melasma as much. Mine, when I had it after pregnancy, went away, but I did a whole live show on sunspots and melasma. So make sure you check that out. I believe it is highlighted in my stories under live shows. I try to do that, you guys. Sometimes the link works, sometimes it doesn't work. But what I've tried to do is go back to my live shows and put that in my story with a link to that in the highlights under live shows. So melasma, that live show will be in there. And you know if you have melasma based on what it looks like, right? So it's kind of, sunspots are spots and melasma is more like a bit of a patches of discoloration. Usually, not under here, sorry. I was thinking radio frequency. But usually where the sun hits your face. So sometimes melasma is here, sometimes it's on the top of the, on your forehead, sometimes on your shoulders. Some people have melasma on their chest. It is a genetic condition, but we're not a slave to our genes because we can, based on lifestyle, change how those are expressed. So if you have melasma that runs in your family, you probably are prone to it, which is why you want to stay away from devices that heat up if you are prone to melasma. And you always, no matter what device it is, you want to spot test everything. So if you are worried that you might have melasma, and you have a device like this and you're worried about melasma coming out or whatever, how I would do this is I would just do the red light and then I would take one arm and I'd put one arm under the near infrared and wait. You do a treatment and then you do those treatments, every so often, and you wait and see. That's how I knew, like when I did the Joe, for those of you who saw that live that I did on, oh my God, let me see where it is. You guys, I'm still not really completely unpacked from moving. How crazy is that? This is it. So if you guys saw me do that Instagram live that I did on sunspots and melasma and hyperpigmentation, and I did a spot treatment of the jowls, that's how you want to test out a device. You want to test out a device slowly. You own it. It's not like, that's the good thing about having these at-home devices is because you own it, and so it's not a race. It's not like you want to get every ounce of treatment you can out of a single treatment. you own the device. If you were to do this in an office and say like, hey, I want to go in for an IPL and I'm going to do an IPL and it's going to cost me $500 to do a treatment. You're like, get me good, right? You better like get me good. I don't care about the downtime. You want to squeeze every ounce of every dollar that you put into that treatment in office, right? Get me good. That's what I would always say. Don't worry about how much I'm screaming. Just get me good. That's not what you want to do with an at-home device. You know, with an at-home device, you own it. And if you are unsure about how to use it, you really want to do a spot treatment. So this is the jowls. This is, I also have I have a code for this, I think, but this is the jowls. I like this device because it's kind of like an IPL at home. Not kind of, it's an IPL at home. You have to wear sunglasses with it, but if you're wanting to treat sunspots, this is great for you. Guess what? If you have melasma, you do not want to be using this device. It's going to heat up your skin. So it's a light, so I'm just going to show you. Let me see if I can get it to go. It has to warm up a little bit, you guys. Hold on. You see that little flash of light? Now, the tip of this is cool. So it's cool to the touch, but this is heating the skin. Don't make any mistake about that. It's heating the skin. So will it treat a sunspot? It's perfect for sunspots. Will it treat melasma? This is going to make your melasma so much worse. Okay, so you have to know what you're treating. Was it last week? It's all a blur. It's all a blur, really, because of my move. But I believe it was last week. No, not last week, the week before, that I did my one arm with this device, and I spot treated part of my face. Let me see if I can, I don't have any makeup on, so this should be good. And I did not have a bad reaction. In fact, the areas that I treated seem to have lightened up a little bit. So that's how you do it. If I would have done my entire arm, my entire thing, and both arms, and then done, like, even though I know, like, oh, well, this is easy to do, it doesn't hurt, you don't feel it, I'm just going to sit here in front of the TV and just keep zapping away. That's where you get into trouble, you guys. That's where you get into trouble. You want to spot test it, you want to wait and see what happens. Now, I can see that this actually made them lighten up. So now I know I can go ahead and do my whole arms. And by the way, if you want to treat hyperpigmentation and sunspots and melasma, wintertime is the time to do it. You don't want to start doing this device and then going out in the sun or having sun exposure, because you can take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. Trust me, I know, I've done it before. I did this device called, I did an in-office treatment, an IPL laser for sunspots, because I've been dealing with these farm girl sun-spotted arms for 30 years now. I think when I finally got smart and got my ass out of the sun, I've been dealing with the aftermath of growing up on a farm, and I was always really protective of my skin on my face, but I just thrashed my body. You know, I grew up in the time in the 80s when it was like the copper tone tan was the thing. So I would lay out with a towel over my face, but I thrashed my body. So when I finally got smart and got my ass out of the sun, I've been dealing with the sunspots, and that actually works. But I did have IPL that I did for years every winter on my arms, and it really got them good. And then they came out with the pico laser, and I thought, I'm just going to go in there and do the same thing. And I did the same thing, and it made it worse. And I had like massive hyperpigmentation. So with each device, you really want to make sure that you're testing things out, okay? So that's red light therapy we've talked about. That's radio frequency if you're wanting to treat like the saggy jowls. I'm going to have like a bunch of hyaluronic acid kind of flaking off of me, sorry. Because I just put that on and now it's dry. So let me see. You can also do microcurrent. So microcurrent, when we're talking about what is it that you actually want to treat, microcurrent is great for like the little saggy skin above your eye. That's what you want to use this kind of treatment for, as well as tightening the skin. So microcurrent, it's going to give you little tiny electrical impulses inside the skin that energize the skin, increase ATP, They don't really, there's not conclusive evidence that it actually stimulates collagen, but it makes sense that it would stimulate a little bit of collagen. And so it creates, again, if you're following my protocol that gets you all of these devices on a schedule with literally less than 30 minutes a day on skin. If you can spend 30 minutes a day in the gym lifting weights, or thinking about your cardiovascular health or your bone density or anything like that, you can spend 30 minutes a day on your skin, because your skin is your largest organ. You can tell a lot about the health about somebody from the condition of their skin. I can tell a lot about somebody's diet. I can tell if they're having a lot of sugar by the inflammation in their skin. So skin is important, you guys, and the reason why I think it's so important is I do have a graduate degree in psychology, so I think that that's why I kind of started looking at the psychology of aging and realizing that this is the organ that shows our age first, right? By the time we get in there and they start looking at our arteries and stuff, it's like, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing it on our skin. That's happening inside our body with every organ that's in our body, but it shows up on our skin first. And if we're not we're putting our best skin forward, we're not looking our best. Same thing if you've just taken, years off of the gym and you're not looking your best. It becomes like this cycle that you can't get off of, right? It's like, how do I get to the gym? I feel shit about myself. I don't want to get in the gym. I'm embarrassed. It's like this thing that happens. You've let your skin go, you're not using the right skincare, you're not doing like anything like that, is fine. That's fine. If that's the way that you choose to age, that's great. That's fine. That's not how I choose to do it. I choose to put as much emphasis on my skin as I do on building muscles at 55, right? 30 minutes a day, that's really all I do. It's just strategic. So there's like a method to the madness, and it makes sense to me, and it creates this wave of collagen production that is more similar to like it was when we were in our 20s. Okay, so in terms of microcurrent, whether it's this device, which is the MyoLift Mini, which is my favorite because it uses a 2-probe system as opposed to like the New Face or some of the other devices that use a 2-lobe system. See how it's 2 bumps? 2-probe system. The 2-probe system is more what is used in offices, and this is basically the same company that does this. This is 7E Wellness. This is the MyoLift Mini. So if you want my top microcurrent devices, DM me the word microcurrent. But if you already have like a New Face or something like that, don't waste your money. Wait for that sucker to break. Wait, because it still works. I had a New Face for years until it broke. It's about the modalities, and it's about energizing that skin and putting the effort into creating that wave of collagen. Izzy says, I have a professional one that does RF on the stomach, so I've been doing my whole face. Thanks for letting me know. Great, stay away from your cheekbones if you're doing RF. Okay, how do you know if you have melasma? I did that every Sunday. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. So nice. Maury Jamie. Okay. Okay, so when we're talking about microcurrent, so let's go on to microcurrent. And the reason why I decided to do this live, because normally I'm here microneedling my face on Sunday or doing something of a demo sort, but I had so many questions from my subscribers even that are in my subscription club that they're like, how am I treating, no, what was the question? Let me think about what the question was. It was, I already have, I have a New Face, but I want the Lumo, and do you think that will help with fine lines and wrinkles? That was the question. And so I thought, let me just explain, when you have fine lines and wrinkles, which device you want to use. All of them are gonna help a little bit, but when you have fine lines and wrinkles, you really want to do red light therapy. You want to do microneedling, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Microcurrent is also good for that, because if you're using a 2-probe system like this, you can use it on the erase mode. and you can actually soften wrinkles like crow's feet by pulling this apart with a little energy in here. You can soften the 11 lines. You can soften the horizontal lines on the neck, but you can also use this in a pinch and hold technique to really lift and tighten and get that kind of what my daughter calls a snatched look. But it's a combination of microcurrent and the radio frequency that I really like on the lower jaw that really helps with the nasal labial fold. But what I'm loving about a microcurrent device that has a tube probe system is what it does to the eyelids. So the two things that I love, if you guys have my Younger Looking Eyes guidebook that gives you, oh my God, I have so many different... See, this is, I've explained fat loss before and the shape of the face and how that changes. But if you have the Younger Looking Eyes guidebook, you know that the two tools that I love for at home, I mean, you can always do like a little sonic vibration to kind of help get that eye bag away, right? That's a sonic vibration. This is like lymphatic drainage, kind of helps to lymphatically drain. But microcurrent is also great at lymphatic drainage because you can literally push the fluid out to where those channels are above the ear. So with microcurrent, yeah, it gives you a little bit more definition here, but you can also, on this kind of device, soften if you're not somebody that gets Botox, which I am. But if you're not somebody that gets Botox and you want to soften the lines around the eyes and around the mouth, then a microcurrent device is great for you. If you are somebody who gets Botox, you want to stay away from those areas that you have Botox. Why? Because microcurrent creates muscle contraction. Does it make sense, you guys? Microcurrent creates muscle contraction. So if you're stimulating muscle contraction and you're having Botox, you're lessening the effectiveness of your Botox. You're going to have to get a lot more. It's going to cost you a lot more money. What company is your radio frequency device from? I've got 3 different radio frequency devices, but I'll tell, let's see. The Lumo is by Even Skin. That's the one that's going out of business. The Even Skin's going out of business. After I post this, you guys can always just DM me as well, radio frequency. I might post this to my main feed. Normally I post my Sunday lives to my club, but I've had so many questions about which device does what. So I might post this to my main feed. Let me take a little sip of mushroom coffee. Hold on. Got to energize here. Okay. So Even Skin, the Lumo, which I just put that somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. But the Even Skin, the Lumo is one of my top radio frequency devices at home. And then Magellan is also great, and Tripolar X is also great. So if you just DM me the word radio frequency, I'll just give you all 3 of those. Do you use the Venus? This one, right? This is not radio frequency. This is only vibration. So you would not want to use radio frequency up by the eyes. So this heats up, but it does not shock treat any sort of collagen production that I know of. This is just literally a little bit of sonic vibration that helps if you have eye bags. So if you have the Younger Looking Eyes guidebook, you know that an eye bag is caused from that fluid. So you'll want to use a caffeine cream, and you'll want to use like some sort of lymphatic drainage system, like a sonic vibration. This is the Venus. It's not radio frequency, but you can get the same kind of effect with using a microcurrent device and pushing that fluid out to where that channel is above the ear and then drain it down. Does that make sense, you guys? You can also do the same thing with like a roller. So this is why I wanted to do this show, is because you don't need to buy all 3 of these. You don't need to buy all 3 of these. If you've got this one, don't, unless you wanted to just use something like this for travel. This is the Nurse Jamie Uplift, which I've had for years and I love. I think I have it in black. I think I also have it in rose gold, because it is a way to like get a little lymphatic drainage and depuff the area. This does it as well, but with a little bit of microcurrent involved. So, it's just a matter of what is it that you're really trying to treat. This is not going to help you to stimulate this eye with the double eye bag. This one isn't really either for more, it's more than just a temporary fix. Whereas this type of device is really going to help to stimulate a little bit of collagen production in there and train the eye muscle to lift up a little bit more, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's microcurrent. Everybody understand? That's microcurrent. So if you've got a little bit of a lift that you want, whether it's around the eye or around the jowl, or if you don't have Botox and you want to use this to soften with the erase mode to pull apart, that's where a microcurrent device would go in. Very, very, very different than radio frequency, right? Very different than a radio frequency device. I'm gonna just do a little dry brush. Dry brush also does a little bit of, you can see like my hyaluronic acid like going everywhere, does a little bit of exfoliation as well as a little lymphatic drainage because you're pushing stuff out here to the corners. Does that make sense? Okay. And then what else did I have to talk about besides microneedling, which is my favorite? So microneedling, when you're looking at a microneedling device, let me get my stuff over here. I've done a lot of live shows on microneedling. Microneedling is my top choice for fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes. At 55 years old, listen, I'm not saying I haven't had shit done. I have. I just admitted to Botox, but I've not had an upper bleph or a lower bleph at 55. So no type of surgery has done anything around my eyes, and I contribute that to microneedling around my eyes every 6 weeks. Somebody's just said, but wait, can you use Lumo on sunspots? You can use Lumo on sunspots. It's not going to do anything to sunspots because sunspots are not made worse by heat. Sunspots are made worse by light, by UV light, right? Melasma is made worse by UV light, by fluctuations in hormones, and by heat, by all of them. So even though if your hormones are stable and you're not getting any UV light from a device like a near infrared, you're still getting a little bit of heat from near infrared or from infrared, and that is what is going to make the melasma a little bit worse. So you can do a Lumo radio frequency right over sunspots. It's not going to make any difference at all. It's not going to improve them, but it's not going to make them worse. Does that make sense? Okay, so the last one is microneedling. I dropped my device on the other side of my vanity. So 1 second, I'll be right back. So microneedling, I have a lot of demos of microneedling on my subscription club. And that's that, when you click on that little crown, if you are a subscriber, you get like all the demos that I do. So microneedling, radio frequency, I'm microneedling my hands here. I'm doing the Nira on my hands here. Lumo. There's just a lot of demos that normally happen on Sunday, and those go. I didn't really do a demo today, so that's why I might post this to my main feed. But this is by far the best thing that I have found around the eyes. So this is a microneedling pen. So what does this actually treat? Does it treat sunspots, hyperpigmentation? It doesn't really treat melasma, I wouldn't say that, but it doesn't make it worse. But it does help treat sunspots because you're looking at exfoliating the epidermis a little bit. It does treat acne scars. It does treat fine lines and wrinkles. It does treat evening out the skin tone. It basically is creating these microtraumas in the skin that calls on our body to go to the rescue and produce collagen and elastin. That's what it does. And when you're doing this strategically every 4 to 6 weeks, because if you've got the skincare protocol, that is the gadget protocol, if you've got that one, you'll see that every Sunday I'm microneedling, but I'm microneedling a different body part. So that every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm redoing my face. And I'm very strategic in how I do that. This is the microneedling protocol. This shows you all of the depths and links and speeds and all of that I do, as well as it's got a big post-care section, and it's got a big safety section because you can overdo your skin. And that's what caused me to make this whole protocol in the first place, because you can exhaust your skin. You can do so many things. That lip lines, that's a great question. You can do so many things to your skin at home, and nobody is saying, hey, don't combine to this device. with another device, with this device. Don't do this one too close to this one because you'll exhaust your skin. So to stay on a schedule where you can fit everything in on a daily basis for less than 30 minutes a day, that's where I feel like my skin has really taken off to another level, is through that. And then, you add in stuff like a really good hydrolyzed, my mouth. I see the deep lines. You add in a collagen and that helps you heal better and helps moisturize the skin. Okay, so the best device for lip line I have found has been microneedling. I microneedled a couple weeks ago over my lip line, and I have it right here. I have all the needle lengths right here that I would normally do for my lips. See, lips? And I normally would do under a 0.25. But for this particular time, because I felt like my lips were like a little... They look dehydrated. That's all I could say. There was not enough lip masks in the world. This is by Ilya. There was not enough lip masks in the world that were going to plump my lips up. And so I decided I'm going to get this really good with microneedling. And I did a 0.5 millimeter on my whole lip. And then I spot treated on sections that I felt like I really want some collagen production here. I spot treated even deeper than that. So I think I went up to a 0.75 millimeters. That's not what I would normally do. Normally I stay on the lip line about a 0.25 millimeter. And in doing that, you can do that every 4 weeks and you're going to see a big difference with that. Be patient. Just because you do it once and you realize like, oh, this isn't that bad. It's not that painful. I can do this. Doesn't mean that you should just go to town on yourself. Or do it in a way that, you're redoing it every week, because you're going to exhaust the skin and you could cause more harm than good. So I kind of equate that to like, for those of us who are addicted to heat with our hair, it's like over curling your hair, then pretty soon it's like, it gets to that point where it's like, oh, I'm not going to behave. And your skin can get the same way. Okay. Are there any other questions? Is this going to be helpful if I post this to my main feed, you guys, or you kind of like get the gist of it? Where can I download the protocols? Gemma, Jermaine America. Afterwards, just DM me protocols. Okay. So this is a good question. DM me protocol. This will get you the calendar. You can DM me ultimate skincare routine, which I didn't have printed out, but that will get you my skincare routine for different concerns, wash, treat, protect, all of that. Which products I like for that kind of stuff, which products I like for different types of issues that you may have. So ultimate skincare routine will get you that. Protocol will get you the skincare protocol device, printable calendar. Microneedling protocol will get you the microneedling protocol. Younger looking eyes will get you the guidebook for the younger looking eyes. All of these are clickable links as well. And retinoids. This is one of my favorite guidebooks that I did on retinoids. Which retinoid is right for you? And so you could just DM me the word retinoids and then download it, and you'll have all the clickable links depending on your skin type of which one is best for you. So let's see. Is there anything else? What treatment for hypo? If you've got are you talking about hypo or hyperpigmentation? Hyperpigmentation is when you've got a lot of pigment there. Hypopigmentation is I would do microneedling. So I have hypopigmentation on my scars here. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that I fell off a barbed wire fence as a child when I lived on a farm. And so I came into the house looking like Carrie. Literally, I was like bleeding from every part. And so I've got multiple scars. You see this one? That was probably my worst scar from that barbed wire fence. I've kind of accepted my scars at this point. I do wear them like a badge of honor. Like, I survived childhood on a farm. Good for me. And then as soon as I was old enough, I got the fuck out of there. I got out. And so my whole family still lives there. And I find myself now in my 50s wanting a little bit more of my childhood kind of environment back. So I've moved into the canyons of Los Angeles. And so I'm surrounded by nature and deer and coyotes and things like that. But I find that in my older years, I want to get back to like that whole thing. But when you're hypopigmented, like you've got a white scar, you can actually spot treat it with microneedling. And I have found that I'm getting a little bit of that pigment back. Okay, does that make sense? For hypopigmentation, I don't think red light is so powerful in what it does for the skin that red light I'd have to do a little bit more research on that, but red light therapy is used in space, and that's how they started kind of coming up with devices. It's used in space for wound healing. But in a lot of this kind of stuff, they find out like, oh my God, my skin looks better too. And then you look at the science behind it and it makes sense of why your skin improves. I don't know if there's any research on the effect of hypopigmentation with red light therapy, but I do know that microneedling can bring back some pigment if you're hypopigmented. You can also, and I wouldn't recommend this unless you try a device like a microneedling device and you've tried it consistently and it's still not bringing back pigment. You can do a microneedling treatment with not yourself. I would go into a place that does permanent makeup and you could put a little bit of pigment into the area. So you're getting a little bit of a microneedling treatment with a little bit of pigment deposited in there from a permanent makeup artist. And there's a lot of people that I've worked with that have had kind of debilitating scars. And I had somebody that I had worked with that put a little bit of pigment in those scars and worked with them on a monthly basis. And they're now like, changed their life. Kind of like, oh my God, I don't have to think about this anymore. The red light therapy is helping my neck hypopigmentation. Amazing creative eye candy. So yes, so there you go. And I haven't really thought about that in terms of hypopigmentation because there's a lot of research on hyperpigmentation with red light therapy, but I love that that's helping you. And we'll see. So is this going to be helpful if I post this to my main feed, you guys? Or do we kind of get the gist of what we're talking about with like which device is best for which type of treatment? Let's see, we talked about red light therapy basically being great for all different types of treatments, everything from melasma, hyperpigmentation. Now we just heard from Creative Eye Candy, hypopigmentation it's helping her with, fine lines and wrinkles, discoloration, enlarged pores. Like it's just like increased circulation. That's why they do the hats, like the Eye Restore helmets for hair restoration, because it's a vasodilator and increases circulation to the scalp and can create hair growth. So there's so many benefits to red light therapy. If you do not have a red light therapy device, this would be my number one choice in terms of modality for treating the skin. If you don't want any of this other shit and you're like, there's no way I'm going to follow a calendar, Darnell. Okay, maybe you invest in a red light therapy device. That would be, wow, what is on my hand? I don't know what I just touched when I touched something that got all over me. Okay, well, I don't know what that is. Okay, so we talked about red light therapy. We talked about radio frequency in skin tightening, heating the dermis up to a 40 to 43 degrees Celsius and tightening that skin by creating collagen and elastin. So if you've got jowls, if you've got saggy skin, if you've lost weight a lot very quickly and you've got saggy skin, then radio frequency is going to be your friend. If you are more like lymphatic drainage, you kind of want to chisel out some areas and add a little bit of lift, then microcurrent is great for you. If you're looking at fine lines and wrinkles, pore size, discoloration, all of that kind of stuff, stimulating collagen really on a different level, because now we're looking at the epidermis, the top layer. So think about this. We're using devices that hit every level of the skin all the way down to the bone, right? To the bone. Somebody just said, what about turkey neck? I did a whole live on my treatments for necks. I microneedle my neck. I also have red light therapy neck attachments. I microneedle my chest, neck, and décolletage, like I would say at least once every 6 weeks. It's once every 6 weeks. I was going to say once every 4 weeks, but really life happens. And so my schedule, even though I schedule once every 4 weeks, strategically and consistently, I'm at least hitting it every 6 weeks. But I did do a whole live on treatments for the neck. There's chemical peels that you can do. But I would think that radio frequency, along with some microcurrent and microneedling and red light therapy, you see how it's like takes multiple different treatments is how I would recommend if I work with somebody one-on-one and they say, I would really like to work on my neck. This is really bothering me. And they're not somebody who would ever do like a neck lift or anything like that. I start them out on one modality, red light therapy first, and then I'm like, okay, let's add some radio frequency in here a couple times a week. Okay, let's add some microcurrent in here now. Let's add a chemical peel. Let's make sure that you're using the right kind of skincare on your neck. So it's all of these things combined that really give the best results. And with that, I think I'm out of here. So I'm going to see you guys next Saturday, 11 a.m. I'll figure out what I'm doing for that show. It's going to be an educational show of some sort on Saturday, followed by a demo on Sunday. If you guys think this will be helpful, I'm going to post this to my main feed just so you can go back and look at this and figure out which device is best for what you are trying to treat. That's what this whole show has been about. Which device, which modality is best for treating what you're concerned about. So I'll post this to my main feed. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. And I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.